Welcome back, everybody. It's been a busy month so far in August for our city. Lots of things going on. And most recently, obviously, earlier this week is when we had a mass shooting that happened up north and wound up in 3 homicides. Individual that had absolutely no regard for human life, is pretty heinous crime, and winds up fleeing, goes to a whole other part of the city. He's carjacking people, attempting to carjack people, and then ultimately we catch him down south. And it highlights a few different things. One, first and foremost, our thoughts, prayers, like everything goes out to the families of these victims. Like, it's unimaginable to go through this kind of stuff, as well as all those who witnessed what was going on. It has a tremendous impact on people. And
all
I know
the target workers,
Yeah.
everybody that witnessed it,
Yeah. But it also highlighted, how phenomenal our officers are. Like, our department was on it from moment one. The time the call came in, I believe the chief put it out, but it was under 4 minutes for us to get there, which is an extremely quick response time. And with multiple scenes across the city, the ability of officers, especially on patrol, to put the pieces together so quickly in order to locate this individual, this suspect, was outstanding work. Very proud of our officers. And it also highlighted some policy flaws that we have here in our city. Like, our officers did an amazing job to try to catch this guy as quick as we possibly could. And we're lucky that he did not flee the city, because that would have made it even worse. And we had a tool taken away from us. LPRs,
Right.
like, they're gone.
I was going to say that same exact word. We got lucky on that one.
We
know,
did.
if he just didn't keep messing up and he just kind of hid for a little bit and wasn't found, he could have done this somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's only about, and we've seen it. We've seen these instances in the past where we've had people who go on shooting sprees that go from one part of the city to the other, and they kill people across multiple different parts of the city. And this is where LPRs are an invaluable tool. And even if we're only talking minutes of time that might have been saved between the time that he was free and the time that he was caught, well, it takes just less than a second to pull the trigger on a gun for someone else's life to be lost. So when we're talking seconds and minutes, those count. Like, the difference between 50 minutes and the difference between 45 can quite literally mean the difference between life and death in these types of cases. And we had a tool taken away from us that could have resulted in this going so much differently. We were lucky. But ultimately, phenomenal work by our department. Hopefully we'll get back to where LPRs are back and we're able to utilize this tool, because that's what it is. It's a tool that can save lives.
Right. And that, the LPR is just one aspect of this.
Mm-hmm.
We do have another aspect of this where we have to look at the suspect having mental health issues
Mm-hmm.
and having been found guilty of previous offenses.
Yeah.
Also, like, shouldn't have had a gun. Probably shouldn't have been on the street because he had mental health issues. The district attorney had dealt with this person in the past, and it's worth talking about that again. I know we always talk about the district attorney in Austin, and I know it gets old, but it's one of those things that just seems to be the common denominator here.
Yeah. I mean, the sad part, though, is like we're not rehashing the same story over and over and over again, right? It's the same storyline, but these are all different cases. And that's why we keep bringing them up, because it just highlights how broken the system is here in Travis County. Because this guy had his first charge back in, I think it was 2016. That was a assault bodily injury family member charge that happened. That, because of that one, is where he should have never had a gun in the first place. And then there were more charges after that, with the last one being in 2019, where it was assault family member with a previous conviction, which is a 3rd-degree felony, and ultimately it was dismissed in 2022 here in Travis County. So, yet again, it's all these examples where there's opportunities to do things, there's opportunities for the criminal justice system to intervene. APD keeps arresting people, and the follow-through isn't there. And
I'd like to point out that first one, that first-degree felony, that's the most serious felony you can have in the state of Texas. And, it's one short of a capital felony. You could serve between 5 and 99 years in jail. Basically meant he almost killed somebody. And I think that title meant that, like, he strangled somebody, like somebody that he was close to. And for them to just downgrade it to the lowest level offense, which is a misdemeanor.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our audience isn't really familiar between felonies and misdemeanors, but that's a big step.
Yeah, huge step down. And yeah, ultimately at the end of that one, where he could have faced 99 years or life in prison, at the end of it, he got 2 years of deferred adjudication and 45 days in jail.
Which means he did 45 days in jail with good time, maybe a month.
Maybe.
And then he does good for 2 years and it all goes away.
Yep. So it was super short, not much accountability in a lot of these. And, and some of these go back to 2016. So it's just tragic how all of this comes about.
And this also feeds into our homicide rate here in Austin. And so, we had 3 just added to our total, and now we're trending above last year.
And I think at this month we're at 8 for the month or right around there. And so we're trending above. Like, I think we're already tied with like 2022, I think, how many homicides we had or something like that. Like we're right around there where we're already at and above what our yearly numbers have been for years in the past. And the most alarming trend of it all is that you can see, and we like using the graphics from our friend over on he's got the Twitter or X handle for Austin Justice that shows when Garza entered office and what happened after he entered office and what the average number of homicides in Austin are since he's been in office. And it's a pretty clear trend. I mean, and now we're talking, this is 5 years. This isn't like a 1 year spike anomaly, whatever. Like, this is a pretty definitive trend that his decision-making process and the environment, well, and the other article came out not that long ago with the Statesman talking about the environment in the DA's office, about it being dysfunctional, about him not seeming to listen. Even a letter that came out from someone that was a 26-year-old, I think, progressive individual who's like, this is a dysfunctional office, and they left. And so it just goes to show a lot of what he's done, the decisions, like, it's detrimental to the public safety in our city, and it's causing more people to die, and it's causing more people to become victims in our city versus it is actually bringing justice. Like, I know I've seen the talking points out there about how we're making our city safer. No, with all due respect, sir, no, you're not. You're making our city more dangerous.
Right.
No.
And he likes to hang his hat on that thing. Well, all the numbers are low. Well, nobody's reporting anymore.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, as well as some of the stuff comes up about how some of the cases have been handled and how they're reported, because some of these are reported to the Office of Court Administration, some of them are not. And so certain things are pled out certain ways or reported certain ways. Like, it seems like we're playing with numbers here, and it's not reflective of what's actually going on. Sure. So there's a lot of shell games going on. Oh, it's concerning. And, one of the other big things that's been highlighted a lot lately is traffic fatalities. We had one the same day that we had the shooting up north. That was the triple homicide. We had a traffic fatality that same day, and we've seen a lot of those. There was an incident in North Austin where one of the very prominent community leaders up there, I believe it was Imam Musad, was one of the individual that was killed, and it was 2 individuals that got into a dispute over like a Facebook sale or Facebook marketplace sale or something like that.
Selling property out of their trunk.
Yeah, and basically one person tries to use their car as a weapon against the other person. The other individual is intoxicated, likely on drugs. One car hits the other, spins out, and it takes out the pedestrian that's walking down the street, which is this community leader. It's Imam Musad, and so it's another one of those. And now all these council members are coming out asking, saying we need to improve safety, we need to do all these things. And it's like, those are things that we've been saying need to be addressed for years now.
And it's like you had a crystal ball, because in our last episode, you actually pulled up the city auditor's report on traffic fatalities. And, that there's a direct correlation when we don't have as many officers, and we don't have as many officers doing traffic functions, DWIs, running traffic in school zones, on major roadways, inspecting commercial vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the outcome.
Yeah. And, our hearts go out to, the victim and his family. Again, it's just tragic when all of this happens, because he's just walking, I think he was walking home, or he was walking, along the sidewalk area, and winds up becoming a victim. And it's extremely tragic. But the even more sad part, well, not even more sad, but another aspect of this that I think is just tragic is that these council members, in particular Mike Siegel, came out and they're calling for increased safety. But then we're talking about budget stuff, and in his budget, he's talking about, and I believe I read an article about it earlier today, where at their budget meeting yesterday, he got hounded on pretty good for not including some of the public safety needs in the base budget and his base budget. Ultimately, it wound up getting included. But we have a council member out there that has this double standard where they want to call for increased safety and we need to do all these things, which we agree with, but then isn't willing to fund base needs. Like there's this conflict here that should not exist that I have a hard time reconciling where the logic comes from on that one.
Right. And then I think Zoe Kadri was even commenting on the death of the community leader also. Is he saying nothing about the police? Like, we need more enforcement, whatever makes sense. He's just like, we should just make sure that our roadways are better designed. Well, council person, how do you design a Facebook property sale gone wrong with DWI and drugs in the car and people trying to hit each other with cars? Like, you can't design your way out of that. There are bad people in this community, and you need police officers there to make it safe.
Yep. That it comes down to giving officers the ability to enforce the law, to have all the tools they need to enforce the law, which ties into needing LPRs and being able to solve these crimes, need the resources to solve these crimes. We need enough people to be able to police our streets, and we need an effective criminal justice system that follows through when we do catch these individuals doing bad things that are harming our citizens. It's harming our community. Like this is where the whole system ties together. And we've said it on here, and we'll say it again. There are things that we are doing right now, that the police are doing right now, that we probably shouldn't be involved in. Things like mental health. Like that's not our primary area. We need more resources that treat mental health more like a health crisis, not a criminal crisis, because that's the way we should be treating it as a health one. And so like we're not the end all be all, but when it comes to crime, we're a major component of all of that. And if you don't have the resources, if you don't have the follow through, if you don't have the prosecutors doing their job, the whole system falls apart and innocent people pay for it. And a lot of the people who are making these policy decisions aren't the ones that see the impact. So that's all we got for this go round, y'all. We appreciate it. Again, please keep all of these, these victims, their families, and your thoughts and your prayers, your well wishes, and just keep our community in mind. And so we have a phenomenal city, a lot of people that do great things. We're here to help our citizens. We're here to help our community, but it's going through some tough times right now.
Special shout out to Justice Tracker for doing a phenomenal job with giving us timely information on suspects after incidents happen. I don't think we've had that fast of information flow to us in the past. And
great stuff.
If you like what we're doing over here, like our videos, share them. We want to reach as many people in Austin to try to let them know what's going on here in the city, and how they can try to keep themselves safe.
Yep. Till next time, y'all, stay safe, stay alert, and stay tuned.